Axons Unleashed.
As ADF members and veterans, we see the world differently. In a world that tolerates and accepts subpar performance, understandably, we demand more. With over 100 years of military service across all three services inside the wire at Axon, this podcast will give you access to Australia's most successful veterans and thought leaders in the elite performance and property space. Join myself, Tamara, Dan and Dane as we uncover the untold truths of what it really takes to successfully transition from the ADF, how to build a multi-million-dollar property portfolio, how to start a business as a veteran entrepreneur, and how to communicate more effectively with your partner, whilst optimising the personal performance of every aspect of your life. As a veteran that served personally over 24 years in the military, I'm Robbie Turner. I'm the CEO and founder of Axon Property Group. Welcome to Axons Unleashed. Hey, it's Robbie here from Axon Property Group and welcome to episode 4 of our brand new podcast called Axons Unleashed. I'm joined here by Dan and Tammy. How you going this morning, team?
Good morning. We're great.
Hey,
I'm great.
You're great. I'm great. You're great. Everyone's great. What a good start to the day.
I thought you were just looking around the room then going, is there actually a clock in here or are we in some sort of casino? There is behind my head.
Yeah, literally if you turn around, there's like the world's biggest clock behind you.
But
So yes.
it doesn't tick though. It stays the same time.
Yeah, you can't have the ticking noise. It'll interrupt the sound.
Hey, welcome to episode 4. So far we've covered off on how the business Axon even started, why we started this podcast, what actually happens when, Tinder gets involved in starting the business. Even last time we spoke about why I sacked my wife and then begged her to come back. So that was really, really interesting stuff as well. Mm-hmm. And today we're going to talk about why we stopped marketing or why we stopped talking to 99% of Australians. So yeah, here we go, a little bit more narrow and deep into the foundations of the business.
Yeah. So we literally just started talking about how successful Tammy had been in finding like the right people to speak to as we went through the whole growth of the business, and then turn around and go, actually, we only want to speak to 1% of those people.
Mm-hmm. So at the time we kind of had two markets. So we had our ADF clientele, ADF veterans, defence community, and then we were also marketing to mum and dad investors, the normal civilian world, I guess. Just anyone that was interested in buying a house, buying a property, getting into property investment. We're kind of competing against every other property investment company for that as well. Yeah,
and then we started doing those discovery sessions, Dan, as we spoke about towards the end of episode 3 there, and we actually discovered that a lot of those people were not the right fit for us. They weren't ready. They were at different stages of life. So I guess all the amazing hard work that the marketing crew were doing by getting to those people to do the discovery session, the transition into like the coaching process just wasn't quite working out. So we're like, hey, we need to sort of find a better way. So I sort of remember that tomorrow's about that stage that we were accepted into the coaching program of an amazing business mentorship called The Entourage down in Sydney, run by the amazing and wonderful Jack Delosa. Hope you're listening, buddy. Catch up with you soon.
Mate, no doubt. He's probably like, this is my new favourite podcast.
Yeah. So yeah, it's I guess it's one of the things that we learned very quickly in business is the importance of coaching. So we haven't done an MBA. We're literally running this business on the fly. We're doing our MBA, whilst in fast forward motion. So I guess it's almost like the same reason, Dan, that you and I wrap up the end of all of our training series is that don't do this by yourself. If you weren't taught this at school, and if you're like an expert firefighter or a pilot or a special forces guy or whatever it is that you do, then you just keep doing that. And if you want assistance in the property space or if you want to make yourself better at anything really, you read any book about success and teamwork and being driven, they'll be like, find a coach and find a team that can help you.
Yeah, if that was such a driving force for us telling our people, our clients, make sure you get coaching, then we weren't listening to it ourselves. So that was something that we really decided to take the reins on as well.
Yeah, so you'd been exposed, I suppose, Robbie, from previous roles. You'd been exposed to a few of these different sort of business mentorship programs.
Yep.
And then eventually you've decided, let's go all in, let's go and engage this other organisation down there.
Yep, great.
I suppose, what was the first things first? Like, you obviously needed to go down there and meet them and get engaged from that perspective.
Yeah, so because we had been part of some other business mentorship before, we sort of entered at the medium to high level. We didn't sort of go into the grassroots level because we'd sort of been running for about a year or so by then.
We were no longer in the real basic startups, like how to set up things and the stuff that we probably should have learnt more of, but we kind of fumbled our way through. But we were kind of past that by the time we joined, and we wanted help on how to grow and scale measurably without too much risk and just doing things in a sustainable way that wasn't going to crash our business.
Yeah, so we're really lucky that the mentorship program that we joined at gave us access to a couple of those key advisors. So we were able to get, we did a 90-minute session with Jack himself, and we'll come back to that in a second. But we're also one of the key advisors were like, all right, cool. How can we now take our marketing and our messaging and our information that put across all the different social media channels to the next stage? So we had a really great chat with the sort of the head of marketing down at the Entourage there. So Tammy, you're the marketing director. So just let everyone know how that chat went and what was the key outcome really.
Well, a lot of the initial sort of conversation was around how do we get people to actually show up live to our different online training, our live Facebook lives that we're running. But yeah, when we started discussing that we had two markets, we essentially had that defence community and we had our mum and dad investors, then he kind of gave us a strange look and said, okay, so how much is this one marketing cost like for you and how much is this one? And he's like, you realise that the mum and dads are costing you more because you're fighting against every other property investment company in Australia. You're going after the same target market. You've got such a niche market. You've got such a great connection to the defence community. Why are you not just going narrow and deep on your target market? And we kind of looked at each other like, I don't know.
Yeah, so it's almost like you, Dan. He got out the whiteboard. He goes, right, why don't we do this? And he goes, boom, 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 boom. He goes, that's the perfect sort of messaging and marketing funnel to your avatar, smallest viable market. He goes, give that a go. I guarantee you're going to get much, much different results. So we're just like mic drop moment, boom. Like this is so exciting.
It's funny when someone from outside your business has one of those key points, and you sit there and go, I don't know why we don't do it like that. And there's been a couple of things over the years that people from an outsider perspective will go, well, have you thought about doing it this way? And you just look at yourselves and go, what? Why did we not think of that? It seems so obvious as soon as someone tells you that, but at the time it wasn't.
But it was so counterintuitive because we turned our back on 99% of Australia. It was like, we don't want to talk to you. We don't have the levels of relatability for you.
I don't think we don't want to talk to you. We would definitely help anyone that was referred to us, anyone that was sort of came our way that had a connection with us, that was aligned with us, aligned with what we're doing. But essentially, we weren't going to spend our marketing dollars finding those clients that weren't our avatar, they weren't our niche market, they weren't the perfect target market for us.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then there we just get a special shout out to all of our much loved civilian clients out there. You know who you're talking about, just to make sure everyone's very aware. We do love you guys and love helping you out as well.
Absolutely. And especially when they're aligned with us and they respect that, the benefit it is that working with some of our veterans that we have in the business,
You're absolutely right, because we still, once every 6 months we re-record our, not how to use your ADF housing entitlements, but it's all about how to escape the 30-year mortgage trap. So it's very much a civilian-based thing there, because, Jono, who's a sniper up in one area, says, hey, my sister, who's a civilian nurse down in Sydney, wants some assistance. Obviously, Jono's sister doesn't care about HPAS and DOHAS, but she certainly would, want to learn about how to use property a smart way. So we don't turn our back on those people, but yeah, we certainly focus our efforts at the front end towards speaking.
But while we got put forward that this is a very niche market that we've got high levels of relatability with, that come from our background and culture, like we are those people. We've just transitioned out now, so we're a couple of steps ahead because everyone's going to get out of the military eventually, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's a very, very protective community. Like if you step 1 foot out of line or do one thing wrong, everybody's going to know about it. So whilst you went narrow and deep, there was also a fair amount of risk involved with you turning directly towards the defence community.
It's a very double-edged sword, I suppose, if we speak of it. Yeah, it's bad news travels real fast, and I guess in the name of mateship and protecting your mates there from dealing with someone shonky, it was, we certainly went all in from a reputation management perspective, and it's something that we're extremely proud of now. We can just sort of fast forward, even though we've been casting back a couple of years to give everyone a really solid foundation about how Axon started. The wonderful property coach Dane's going to join us in the next few episodes, and he recently was on a discovery call. His exact same business model as you guys just sort of discovered during the last episode. One of the guys on there was like, hey, before I go ahead with everyone, I've got a bit of a red flag. He says, why don't you have any bad online reviews?
Yeah, he said it comes across kind of fake because you've got no bad reviews. You've only got good reviews on there.
And
so
Dane's
it looks fake.
And Dane's like, all right, mate, no dramas. I appreciate that. Tell you what I'll do. I'll hang up this call. I'll call one of our existing clients and I'll call him a bullfed. And
I
then
think
he can
used a bit more of a
I know, but I'm trying to be
frank
nice.
term than that.
Yeah.
Keeping it PG today, it seems.
I'll call him a bullfed, offend him, ask him if he can jump online and say some shitty comments about us. Would that make you feel better? And the other guy's like, all right, I got it. No dramas.
It's kind of like you just can't win in that side of things. We're always as soon as we decided to go hard on Facebook Lives and being exposed in that kind of thing, you're open to trolls, and we've had our absolute fair share of trolls. We've had, some fake reviews that ended up getting deleted because they've never worked with us.
Tell that one story, Tammy, to butt in about there was a troll from Southeast Asia who got one of our defence family members to pay money to them, and she thought she was paying money to be on our Facebook Live.
So awful.
You were
awful.
This is only about 6 months ago.
So basically, on our Facebook Live, we got targeted by a bunch of bots, I guess, or just online trolls, and they had set up a payment gateway link that they posted all over our pages, and these were coming in like 50 to 100 in a minute. So our teams could not keep up. We were using moderated words. We were trying everything that Facebook has in the back end to try and stop them.
This is why we're live online doing our stream. Dan, you and I are in front of the camera.
I was oblivious. I had no idea.
You didn't know what was going on, but there was like a little tactical operations center in there running in a back end ops.
So basically, this link had, if you want to continue watching, click this link, and then they went to a payment gateway, and they had to pay $90 to essentially continue watching our free content. So this woman, absolutely heartbreaking. She got scammed. She clicked this, and to be honest, it looked so dodgy. It was all in Thai symbols and everything. But anyway, she essentially clicked the link, paid her $90 to continue watching. Which thanks for paying for our training.
God knows where that money went.
But she did get it back, thankfully.
Yep,
we reported it and she did get it back. But it absolutely broke my heart that she was so upset with us, saying that was on your page. That comment was on your page. You must have put it there, and just blamed us for that. And I just felt awful that someone had thought on our page that we had scammed them or had any sort of way we were involved in that, because it just made me feel sick. And that someone had been scammed if they had hard-earned money for one of these trolls.
Yeah. And I know that you were very active, Tammy, in sort of reaching out to her on the back channel and being like, there's this and there's this, and then this is the process you need to follow so that you can obviously get that reimbursed. But I mean, it just really reinforces of just one small thing can go wrong that has trickle on or these snowball effects, that it becomes even bigger and bigger, and then sort of undoes a lot of that hard work, which then results in a catastrophic failure potentially, because the reputation gets tarnished inside such a small protective community.
Yeah, you're just so exposed online, like as a business, as humans. We're exposed on Facebook. And online, people have the opportunity to say what they want, and we've had our share of bullies. We've had our share of people, want to take us down. There's definitely that tall poppy syndrome in Australia as soon as you sort of start to make some ripples in the world. But yeah, you push through, you get shit done.
Get shit done. I
I've
love
seen
it.
other sort of prominent veterans that I follow as well that are all fucking legends. When there's other people that try and poke the bear, they just put it as like hashtag send it. Like for any other fucker that wants to have a go at us, hashtag send it. We are ready. I love it. But it's one of those things that I love doing actually, whereby we took down the cloak or the curtain and did things behind a webinar, and now we just put ourselves on Facebook Live. It's almost like, and certainly when we do our weekly live Q&As, which is a completely separate stuff to what we're talking about now. Take my wedding ring off. Sorry, that was me. I've still got it with me, hun. Just not on. It's like
He's going to leave that behind.
no. It's like
Lost for the 17th
it's
time.
like bloody. I feel like when we're doing our weekly Q&As, and certainly when we're doing our lives, it's like standing at the front of the Titanic. Jack's out there saying, "I'm the king of the world." I'm not. I'm just the king of my own lunchbox.
But he was doing like the motions of
The
Jack on
arms
the
are
front
out.
of the Titanic. Yeah.
But no, it's-
was it even Jack that did that?
Yeah, it was. Trust me, I know that movie very, very well. No, but it's good. It's exhilarating and it's out there, and there's having that live and real time interactive nature with people. It's fucking gold. I love it. It's very unique.
That's good. So you went down there. You spent a little bit of time with their head of marketing down there. Well, they sort of encouraged you to divert off into one particular stream. Was there any other gems that came out of that first trip down there?
Well, we also got a session with Jack, so that was really exciting. The business has obviously grown a fair bit since we joined them, but and so people aren't kind of as lucky as we were now to have that opportunity. But we had a fantastic session with him, and we were kind of at a point, and I'm sure Daniel, you'll kind of realise that you saw a big change in us at the time.
Did you just get a Daniel?
I'm in so much trouble and I don't even know what for.
Fuck, that was
I
gold.
thought I said Dan.
No,
Did I say Daniel?
that was great.
Oh my God. And yeah, basically, we were kind of talking about how challenging it was to work together, and just getting in each other's way. I'd just come back on board as marketing, just trying to navigate working together. And he pretty much...
I think he could actually see, this is a classic example of me jumping in. Tammy's telling something about the business. I'm trying to tell him about the business, and we're just tripping over each other because we both want to contribute. And
Like what you just did
yeah,
right
I know,
then.
I know. I wanted to use that as an example, and then this happened.
Thanks. So basically, he just laughed in our face, and he's like, "Have you read the book Rocket Fuel?" And we're like, "No, what are you talking about?" And he basically goes, "Hold on, 2 minutes," and he ran out of this boardroom session, and he went to his office, and he pulled out these 2 books, and he said, "I'm giving you each a copy, so you don't even have to share." Basically, the book was about visionary and integrator, so relationships, and basically what that is a visionary is very much the big picture. Where are we going? How to 3-year picture, 10-year goals, that kind of thing. Just really, just big picture stuff. And the integrator is very much the details on how do we get there? What are the risks? What are the resources we need? What are the, all of the bits and pieces, the minor details that make it all happen. And I guess Robbie is very much the visionary. He's very much big picture, go.
Million miles an hour, bull in a china shop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I break shit at home every day.
And, I'm very much the integrator, so I'm always about, what are the details? What is the risk involved? What's going to happen?
I thought when I'd come up with a really good idea, she'd be like, no, I don't think we should do that. I'm like, why the fuck are you being so negative?
Yeah. Why aren't you supporting me, honey?
Get your hand off the handbrake. You guys thought I was going to say something else then. Get your hand off the handbrake. Like, why are you slowing things down? I don't understand.
Even the podcast situation, the idea came up very early in the piece, and we'd just done one of our biggest Facebook Lives, and we had more leads than we could handle. You two were absolutely working your asses off.
So we implemented a discovery session.
Yeah.
So then Robbie's like, I've had a great idea. I think we need to do a podcast. Now, to me, I'm thinking, okay, a podcast is, to connect with our community, to bring in more leads. It's a marketing activity, but it's a branding activity. But I'm also like, well, you guys are absolutely under the pump with so many leads that you're working every single night. You're working massive hours every day. We don't have any staff yet at this point, or very few. And I just was like, is he bloody crazy?
Needless to say, that was 2 years ago and we haven't done a podcast since. But we're here now.
Well, it made for really, really good content as
Yeah.
we fleshed out the sort of the first 4 stories of how Axon actually came to be. If we'd started it 2 years ago, we would have just been like, so we started filming some videos and that would have been the
last
end
week.
of it.
Yeah. That's actually a really good way of putting it. We've got 4 years of stuff that's occurred that we can now share with everybody.
So that would have been another sort of gem. And I mean, that really starts to show you the value of people that can coach you and guide you and mentor you through the way. Because I think I've heard the story of how Jack has used his integrator as well. And he almost did the exact same thing that he did to you guys, where it's like, light bulb moment, you don't understand the visionary integrator relationship. And he literally gave the book across to his integrator.
Yeah, his GM, Tim, at the time he was the GM. Basically the same thing. So a lot of the time with visionaries, you kind of get a bit of whiplash because every sort of 60 to 90 days they're changing direction, or they've got new ideas, or they're excited about something else. So the team is constantly kind of going, oh, what are we doing now? What are we doing now? So they kind of had their own sort of experience with that. And Jack sort of said the same thing. He said to Tim, have you read the book yet? And he goes, no. He goes, oh, you need to go home and read this book. So he did. And he's like, I get it now.
the Bible of any entrepreneurship.
If you're starting a business with, even if it's not your partner, if you're starting a business with somebody else, or if you want to hire a general manager, an ops manager, someone that's kind of your right-hand man, then I would highly recommend that book.
And to be fair, it also applies to just life. Like, Dan, when you and I are coaching our clients, there's either the serving member or the civilian partner. It could be the male or the female or any combination of the two. Someone's a visionary as far as using property and creating wealth in their life, and the other person's not that interested and they're just focused on integrator sort of stuff. And I can never pick it. It's not a trend. But, this doesn't just apply to business, this applies to life.
Yeah, there's always someone that's talking about, in 5 or 10 years from now, we're going to do this and then this and then this. And the other person's sitting in the background going, so let's talk about this first investment property. Can you tell me what my interest rate's going to be and what my monthly repayment will be and how much am I going to have to pay in rates and mortgage insurance and all of that sort of stuff in the minute detail? And it creates such a fantastic balance between two individuals because you've got that person, and it creates a huge amount of friction, don't get me wrong, because everyone almost feels like they're pushing in both directions.
They're speaking a different language. And the one thing that Jack said was it's actually fantastic to have in a business, like to have the two of you on different sort of, because if you have two people that are visionaries, you kind of have all these big ideas but nothing gets done, or it's.
Can you imagine how your team would feel if you had two visionaries operating, two Robbie Turners dragging in two different directions, because everyone gets good ideas, right? You say you get whiplash with one individual that's a visionary. Imagine if you had two people pulling in opposite directions.
What's your little saying, Tam, if we hadn't come across that book?
Well, I say that we balance each other out, because if it was just Robbie's business, then we'd probably be 5 years in front, but probably have 5 lawsuits as well. And if it was just my business, we'd probably be back where we were at year 1, but we'd have an amazing employee handbook and an amazing OH&S policy and all that kind of procedure and policy.
Or the mandatory briefs that...
He's rolling his eyes at me now.
I was just wondering if we've got an OH&S manual yet. I'm pretty sure we do it somewhere.
Yeah, we do.
There we go. I've signed it as well.
You have.
There we go. I knew I'd done something to do with it. So that's really good. And I suppose what you've kind of demonstrated is in a very, very short period of time, like one trip down to see the team, you've effectively pivoted the entire business and dramatically changed both your professional and personal lives to have your own laneways. Like you got to start to concede that was a pretty valuable trip that you guys just had.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, phenomenal. Yeah, it's the power of coaching and the power of just, as you said, Tammy, just having that third party look into the business and just see some tweaks. When someone's not emotionally connected to the business, they can see things that we can't.
Yeah.
You know, the fog.
Just having that external person just say, well, have you thought about this or have you tried that? And yeah, we see that all the time with even you guys coaching your clients or their money habits or things like that, you know, that you're coaching them on, and one little tweak go, oh, well, have you thought about using this particular way to save money or use this particular way to manage your expenses? Then they go, oh, I don't know why I'm not doing it like that.
It's phenomenal, isn't it? Even their little client meetup we had in Brisbane over the weekend. Just the amount of feedback we had from people going, I just never knew that I could just make those small little tweaks. We've now been doing it for a year or so. We're so much further ahead. We feel so much better off, and we're so happy about what our future's going to hold, just purely based on, you know, half an hour of coaching or some, you know, little gold nuggets that someone flicked our way.
I've loved recently as well the just some of the tweaks you guys have suggested, and we've had some amazing clients being able to save up for their deposit so much faster. Not only by those tweaks, but also having that plan in place and having those goals, because before it's like, well, we don't know how much exactly we need, but we'll just keep saving, or we'll just make these sort of small tweaks and work out when we can do it, kind of guess when we can get started. But having that coaching session and having that plan in place, then people are like, okay, here's what we need to do. How fast can we get that done?
Yeah, totally.
It's just a change in mindset. As you know, business is called Axons, so you know we can go ahead, and a change in mindset is obviously on your way. But what you're talking about there, Tammy, is absolutely correct. You set your goals, and then you also have an accountability buddy to make sure you've actually done it. So having that person, because you know that your things are going to be checked from that perspective, is an absolute game changer.
What's your little line about that, Robbie? People only do what?
Oh, it's things, people do those things well that are going to be checked by someone else.
Absolutely, and a good mentor is always going to be on your back to make sure you do that.
Yeah, totally. What else?
Yeah, no. Well, I was going to say, so from that perspective, I think that was really one of the pivot points in the business where we transitioned across to only predominantly working with defence members from that perspective, which kind of started to see things go on a real trajectory going forward when we started to scale the business. And I think this is where most people sort of who have been following us for a while really started to recognise that, wow, things are changing at Axon, and the business was really starting to grow up over this sort of 6 to 12 month period here. So,
well, you guys were doing the content and I was chasing people around the internet.
Yeah, so we were very much entrenched working in one of our clients' houses, the northern part of the Gold Coast there. And it was, so it was us three. Then we had another couple of people join us, and we sort of got to that point whereby we had I think we had about 8 people. The address shall remain undisclosed. Oh, sorry. No. Anyway, we're not fucking telling you where it was. But yeah, we had 8 people working out of this house in a family-run business. Mr. Gold Coast City Council. But yeah, we sort of outgrew that business, but it was a great little platform, wasn't it? We had our little downstairs client meeting area, family lunches, barbecues out the back. Dan
used to mow the lawn.
Yep. In the early days, we'd have the that same screen that I'd be standing up in front of with my bung leg. We'd have the cricket on with the aircon blowing down our back. It was bloody gold, wasn't it?
It was.
I couldn't get up the stairs. That's why.
No, we had to stay downstairs because you had a busted leg, and you know, the middle of summer and like in Queensland, we needed to have the air conditioning blowing straight down our backs to keep us nice and cool. But I mean, at that point in time, I suppose it was the transition was we were really starting to grow up. We needed to move from that location. The team was getting too big to be able to operate from there. So I suppose as we move forward and we start to think about the next episodes, I'm really looking forward to exploring now what actually happened. How did we sort of take that next step and start to really accelerate things going forward?
Yeah, it's so good because another business book that anyone should read is a book by Gino Wickman called Traction. and traction talks
Same
about.
author, same author.
Same author as Rocket Fuel.
Yeah, it is. It is. Actually, and that's the little thing I was going to say. That friction, Dan, that you were talking about as I rub my hands together there on the pop mic. When you get that right, it's that friction which causes the rocket fuel. Like, what does rocket fuel do? Rocket fuel makes you blast off. So if when you do get it right, and I'm certainly not sitting here purporting that you and I, Tammy, and even the three of us, as the sort of the key leaders of Axon, get it right every day. We don't. That's the reason why there's friction. That's the reason why we've done so well. That's the reason why there's some blood on the floor every now and then as the conversations.
Even though there is friction, there is always an underlying sort of, what do you call it? But underlying theme that it's all for the love of Axon, the love for our team, the love for the bigger picture. So that even when there is friction, we're all still aligned with where we're going, what we're doing, like the bigger picture.
You threw a meme on our little Skype chat. It's like a team is not a group of individuals that work together. A team is a group of individuals that trust each other. That's massively different.
Mate, based on that, that is an awesome way to close out this episode. When we come back next time, we're going to be actually talking about how we grew up, in my mind, from an Axon perspective, and where we're sort of lead to from there. And then we'll get to start speaking to some more of the team, which is really bloody exciting.
Yeah, things are just about to start getting a little bit more interesting. All right, thanks for listening, everyone. Speak to you again soon. See you later.
See ya.
Hey, thanks for tuning into today's podcast. If you enjoyed listening, make sure you give us a 5-star rating, hit subscribe, so you'll be first in line to get it in your inbox every week on a Tuesday. Whilst you're at it, open up your favourite social media app, be that Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn and YouTube, and connect with Axon Property Group. This is where you'll see us every day sharing the secrets of creating multi-million-dollar property portfolios and performing to the highest levels of your life. You'll get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to what it really takes to build a life that you love. You'll also discover how to secure your financial future as an ADF member or veteran, and I assure you your future self will love you for it. Thanks again for listening, and that's a wrap.